My name is Rachel Kapler, and I'm a PhD candidate here at BGSU in biology. I grew up in the middle of Michigan, and my family is just my mom and my dad, who are both just high school graduates, and my younger brother, Kevin. Overall, I started out pursuing a degree in zoology with a career goal in mind of being a zookeeper. And I went to Michigan State University to do that, along with taking some extra classes for French and Spanish. While I was there, I changed my mind after working in a dog kennel. I realized that zookeeping was quite similar and wanted to pursue something a little bit more challenging mentally. So I decided to focus more on research, especially after I took a study abroad trip to Africa studying animal behavior. So afterwards, after I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I spent a year out of school trying to figure out what institution I wanted to go to get my master's degree in biology. And from there, I got accepted to Bowling Green State University for my master's, which took 2 years. I did some research on my seed predation, and afterwards I went to and from different places, trying to get more experience and work, and am now finally back here at BG getting my PhD in biology. At that point, I was still slightly interested in pursuing a career in the zoo and aquarium sciences, but not quite on the zookeeper level. More of some zoos have research areas as well. So I was trying to get into the local zoo and aquariums to volunteer, but they didn't have very many opportunities where I was located at. It was in the middle of Michigan instead of near a major metropolitan area. So I was looking for a job that would need a bachelor's in biology. I didn't find too many in the area, but while I was looking for work, I was also looking for an institution where I wanted to get my master's degree in. So yeah, I almost forgot about the time in Arizona. I've been a lot of different places. So that, I think, was the most rewarding for me. Right after I got done with my bachelor's, I signed up to volunteer at the Southwest Research Station in Portal, Arizona, where they have a location in the mountainous areas where researchers and visitors can come and stay and pursue research in that area. While I was there, I learned about different species that were occurring in that habitat, about research, and a totally different habitat from what we're used to in the Midwest. When I got done with my master's degree, it did increase the amount of money that I was making on a basis of what, say, minimum wage was. There are certain avenues with a master's in biology where you could be making or progressing to make more. So for example, I was interested in working with the U.S. Forest Service or the Fish and Wildlife Service, which is a government organization. So as soon as you enter into that organization, you'll be at a lower grade level, but then be able to progress further up the scale and make more money over time. When I went to look into that, there are a lot of applications online to do so, but it does take quite a while to get through that avenue over the internet. And so I was trying to find a place where I could get to know some people, so I did volunteer at National Wildlife Refuge after I got my master's. But unfortunately, I was about 6 months too late in their open window for their STEP program, where you go directly from school and then start internshipping for them and then get put into a position with the Forest Service or Fish and Wildlife Service. So that didn't end up happening, and from there it was mostly adjunct teaching positions that I could find interviews for locally. and I got a break by knowing people around the Toledo area, where I was able to finally get a position, a seasonal position as a research assistant in the area. So while it was not as monetarily rewarding as a government position, it was still work that I was enjoying. I think the most frustrating part of the way that we have our system now is with a master's in biology and my ability and willingness to move around to different locations. A lot of the applications were online applications. And so that amount of time between how long should I wait before I contact them, who can I contact, and hearing back from them was the most frustrating part of it. While working with the Fish and Wildlife Service, I realized that they start to hire from within first, and so it would be better of me to get to know more people in order to do that. But because of my limitations with staying in that area or finding another refuge or a place to hook up with, I ended up teaching in the wintertime and then doing the research for the Forest Service in the summertime. And I was okay with doing that cycle. Overall, I was making the same amount of money during the summer and the winter with those. But the teaching job was for anatomy and physiology and more of the subjects that I wasn't super interested in. So while I learned how to be a teacher and did well in that, it was something that sort of weighed me down a little bit. So while I was a master's student, I also had a little bit of teaching ability, and I realized back then that I didn't really like it, but after getting more experience with it, I realized that I could do it, and I thought that if I get my PhD, there are not only avenues for doing research in multiple locations, but also better and more positions potentially to be a professor. For biology, you have to do a total of 4 years, and it can be a little bit longer depending on how long it may take for you to get your research completed. But basically in biology, you start off with first year with gathering your ideas for what kind of a research topic you want to study, and over the course of 2 or 3 years, you perform experiments to find out different information about areas you're interested in. That will then be written up into a thesis or a dissertation report, and you can also end up writing those into journal publications, which is highly recommended because within the science, the more scientific publications you have, the more impressive your CV is. And at the end of that, most PhD students will then go directly into a postdoctoral position, and that can be at your institution or at a different institution. It can be for a year, usually is a year, and then can get extended maybe into another year. These are usually paid, and then it gives you the more experience to help you find a permanent position afterwards. For my doctorate degree, I'm looking forward to being more collaborative with other people. I really feel like beforehand I was not as outgoing with navigating my way around social situations, and so I think by networking a little bit more with other people in my field, it'll increase my chances of finding a position afterwards. But within 5 years from now, I'll probably be within some sort of postdoc situation where I'm helping out other professors or people at different universities with their research, and then at the same time looking for a permanent position.